Right, we move on now to item 6C, which is the review of the fare tariff for taxis, private hire cars fitted with taxi meters. On this one, you've hopefully read the report submitted by the Director of Resources concerning the taxi fare tariff. Earlier, the Midlothian Taxi Owners Association were consulted and considered that it should remain unchanged, save for the replacement and deletion of 2nd and 3rd January in relation to the premium charges. They later came back and asked for time to enable their members to reconsider their position prior to the start of the public consultation period. In the circumstances, can I recommend to the committee to note that position and to remit to the Director and the Chair to proceed with the consultation process on receipt of the Association's proposals, on the basis of any reasonable alterations that they may suggest, subject of course to a report back to the committee following the consultation. Is that acceptable that we go on that one? Thank you very much. Yeah. Moving on now to item 7. This is the question of the Rehabilitation of Offenders Act 1974 and the consideration of spent convictions. As you'll be aware, there have been a few problems with how we deal with this sort of situation, and this is a proposal put forward in a report by the Director of Corporate Resources. Is there any members wish to make comment on this report? Councillor Mulligan.
Yeah, it was just to ask probably one question. And we've been here that many times where you get folk coming in here that haven't filled in the forum and have made claims. Is there any way this committee would be empowered today to take a decision to say, quite frankly, if you fill a form in saying you have no spent convictions or convictions, if it's then found out you have a conviction, could we automatically reject that without even coming here? Because I think the amount of time we spend here discussing folk who haven't filled their forms in properly, and any other light that would just simply be rejected as either fraudulently or incorrectly filled in and sent away back to them. Because I think we do spend a horrendous amount of time discussing whether or not we should go forward with that. I think this is this forum's written in such a way you can't misunderstand this, and yet we constantly have folk coming in here saying, oh, I didn't realise. I would actually prefer us just to have a complete rejection if it's not filled in on the grounds properly.
Councillor Thompson.
I think in principle I would agree with Councillor Milligan, but I think we might find ourselves in sticky water if we try to do it. My thinking is everyone needs to have the opportunity to come forward, and we don't want to get ourselves caught out in a technicality that then means that the decision's taken out of our hands, and for that reason I'd be reluctant. I mean, I think in principle I absolutely agree, but I just think I'd be interested to hear from Mr Turpie, but I think we could be laying ourselves up for trouble if we actually did do that.
Yes, it's something of a fine line to tread here. I think a blanket policy saying if you have filled in this form incorrectly, your application will be refused could be challenged. However, a policy that people who have filled in the form incorrectly will have to justify why it's been filled in incorrectly, otherwise it will be refused, would be acceptable, so that the onus is back on the applicant to explain why there may have been an honest mistake, but not simply a, oh, I got it wrong, please grant my application. The onus then goes back in them. If they don't satisfy the committee as to why they have not filled the form incorrectly, that the committee would then take the view that the application should be refused.
Could I just add a comment? West Lothian tried to do exactly what you're wishing to do there in the past, and they refused everyone when they found that they had previous convictions. On appeal to the sheriff, that was thrown out, saying that they had to do everyone individually. So, although I personally agree with your views, I think you would find yourself in murky water.
Is it possible, though, that it could be sent back to the individual, pointing to the fact that it's incorrect? You know, it still doesn't have to come to a full meeting to do that. We wouldn't be rejecting it. We would be sending it back, saying basically it's incomplete. Surely we can do that. No an automatic rejection, but just to avoid what we go through here, because we know prior to it coming to this meeting here today that it is wrong, because you've had the information in terms of the offences and things like that. So why can we not just do that?
I don't see any reason why not. The only problem is that there may not be enough time to do all that, but that aside, I think I would agree with you.
Again, there's a technicality there in that 21 days from the time the application is made, if we send stuff back to them saying you need to fill it in correctly, that 21 days is gone, and we then have to make an objection saying to you, give an explanation of why it's out with the date, etc. So again, it just causes extra paperwork, extra problems.
Okay, we'll all accept that. We're just hoping that we could have done this here, because we do spend that much more time.
Councillor Baxter.
You're coming out with all the same comments, the problems that we've been going through all this time, so we're well aware of them.
Thank you, Chair. I would actually disagree with sending it back to the applicant, because that means that the applicant therefore is not disadvantaged, apart from a delay, by trying to avoid putting any convictions on the application form. My worry is that if we were to reject the application on those grounds, then that would be a significant deterrent to others to make sure that they put all the convictions in the application form. If we don't do that, the chances are they'll just try it anyway. And if they get found out, then it's simply a delay, it's not a rejection.
Councillor Thompson.
Is it perhaps then that we put something into the guidance note that says that every application will be heard, however, if it is discovered that there's been information missed, the committee, along the lines Alan suggested, will be minded to refuse unless there's a sufficiently detailed explanation as to why there was information missed, because it is absolutely clear. I mean, the detail that we've now got in the box underneath about what needs to be listed in here is absolutely clear as crystal, so there should be absolutely no reason, and maybe it is, including that in the guidance note, with enough that we still need to hear everyone as they come, but that we are absolutely clear that if it's not there, then, I mean, it's essentially formalising the process that we've followed for quite a long time now, where information is missed off forms.
That would certainly, I'd be more relaxed with my legal hat on if that were in the guidance notes, because that makes it quite clear when someone comes in, doesn't give you a proper explanation as to why they haven't declared all their convictions as necessary, and they're then told, no, sorry, you're not a fit and proper person. They've been told up front to do it, they've been told up front what will happen if they don't do it. They've been given an opportunity to address yourselves on it, and it's been refused. And I don't want to prejudge any sheriff. I don't quite see where the grounds for pulling us up would come from if we did that. Famous last words, I appreciate, but
right, is that, we've got an agreement that the wording as proposed here is that's accepted with the amendment that we add in the, basically as you were saying. Is that right, Councillor?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I have one other question that I would just like clarity for both your legal services and maybe even the police. Is the last sentence, and where we've got all convictions offences must be declared, the last part, fixed penalty fines, should also be declared. Many people see them as an alternative to conviction and accept them as that. Are we happy that's something that we are okay with? Because many people accept fixed penalties as an alternative, and I think that's how it's explained to them as well, to a conviction. We're then putting them in the same boat as people who have actually been to court, tried and convicted. And I just wonder whether or no, Alan, you're happy that if someone did appeal that they might no win that, because I'm sure it is put in as an alternative to conviction.
thanks, Chair. Yes, the difficulty is that the law takes a complicated issue and has made it more complicated. and the alternatives to prosecution are then graded within that, so the fixed penalties, especially under road traffic, come into a separate category. We'll go back through and try and make it clearer that exactly which fixed penalties, i.e. those under the Road Traffic Offenders Act, must be declared. Make it as clear as we possibly can that that is the case. There are essentially two types of conditional offers. There's those under the Road Traffic Offenders Act and those under common law for low-grade assaults and so on. And those under the Road Traffic Offenders Act should still be listed in terms of the legislation. So we'll go back through it again and make sure that it's crystal clear exactly what we're required to do. I appreciate that the last minute wants us to be up here in 2 months' time trying to explain to you why someone hasn't filled it in incorrectly, although it appears they have. So we'll make sure we get that right, Derek.
Councillor Pottinger.
I'm concerned that we're going to get a lot of people saying that offence was that old, I'd forgotten about it, you know. Offences for people's youths, offences for people's, shall we say, other life or a different past, you know, kind of history where they're completely reformed. But if they start dragging over every single, you know, fixed penalty notice, you know, I'd rather there were so many that were actually, you know, in the last so many years, you know, kind of figure on it. You know, they make it even clearer to people, because, you know, a lot of people will start thinking about, you know, when they were stealing apples out of an orchard or something like that, you know, on this kind of, you know, offences kind of agenda, and I'm just concerned about the timescales on this.
I think we put a rider in there so that you know, it would be the committee could then make a decision on it at that time of whether they thought that was a good reason. But Councillor Thompson.
To my mind, both of those points are covered, because it's pretty clear in saying all offences must be declared, including those normally expected to be spent in terms of Rehabilitation of Offenders Act. So it's pretty clear in saying that, and also under the terms of the fixed penalty notice for driving, it is very clear in saying all fixed penalty offences shown on your driving licence, together with any you've accepted but which do not yet appear. So I think, to my mind, that absolutely covers off all of that.
Sorry, just for that, if your driving licence is clear after 3 years, you know, 0 points, do you still have to declare all the points that was on it before it was clear?
I think you're confusing that's taxi and private hire as distinct from, you realise that?
Okay, are we, everybody, okay with that and how we're going forward with this one? That's fine. Right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on now to item number 8. That's the War Memorials, Newton Grange. You've seen the proposal put forward here is there's 3 names being put forward here for inclusion or consideration of inclusion on the War Memorials. So, is there any members? Councillor Pottinger?
Yeah, Newton Grange Community Council has had this on the agenda for a couple of years, and it's pretty well run its course and been very well debated and very well exhausted at Newton Grange Community Council. And it was all instigated by a relative, somebody who thought their uncle, their great uncle, was missing from the War Memorial in Newton Grange. And there's been extensive research done into this. You've mentioned the background papers of the Scottish National War Memorial registers and newspapers and certificates of births, deaths and marriages. And they've involved a local historian in Newton Grange as well on it. They've done all the internet checks on it. They've done, and they've also had good advice from Bob Atack on it, you know, as well in Midlothian Council. So all avenues have been exhausted on checking the criteria and the remit for this. And I think we should now move ahead on the basis of Newton Grange Community Council's wishes that these three are now added to the War Memorial in Newton Grange by Newton Grange Community Council at their, shall we say, expense.
Thank you. Anyone? Another? Councillor Johnson?
Although it says everything's been done, it can possibly be done to identify that. I note there was more information going around the village yesterday that the other 9 people should be included, but there's no reason as to why they're not to be included. Can we get that information?
As far as I was aware, the Community Council abandoned their nominations for the other 9 people.
Right, any?
I just was seeking confirmation that there's but Bryden said that there's absolutely all avenues have been exhausted, because I had thought we could agree to put the 3 names on but continue to investigate about the other names.
Thank you.
I think that's the last thing Newton Grange Community Council will want to hear, that they're going to keep this on rolling and ongoing all the time. You say after much of the research has been done on improving residents. Other people who think others should be include people who are on other war memorials in the locality. It also includes no evidence of residency or any traceable evidence of residency in Newton Grange. There'll always be a bit of grey area in everything we do, but this is the best research that could have been done, and I'm confident that Newton Grange Community Council has researched the others, that are not included on this list of 3 from this application. And it's not, to say, somebody might revisit it with better evidence in the future, but, let Newton Grange Community Council consider that evidence at that time. But this is the evidence they've got in front of them just now, and supported with all these other avenues I've already mentioned.
Thank you. Councillor Thompson?
I think that's pretty much exactly what Councillor Johnson was saying, that while we accept the 3 just now, that we shouldn't be closing the door to any future names to come forward, and I would absolutely back that, that if there is future information that allows for other names to be added, then we absolutely would be supporting the Community Council in their efforts to have them added in addition.
So, would you accept that?
Yeah, we've only got 3 names in front of us today, that's traceable, and I think we should take a decision on these ones today, especially as these 3 have been organised, and it's a lot, to organise, the war memorial as such, to get these 3 on, that any addendums to this, will obviously have to be considered under resource implications as well.
We can, we'll proceed with that. Is there a seconder for the, what we'll have to do is we'll go through each the application, the 3 of them individually, but is there a seconder? Just make sure we've got a seconder for Councillor Pottinger. Councillor Muirhead. Okay, that's fine. Right, will we add in the amendment that we will keep the door open on the other 9, that should someone come forward with reasons?
Chair, I mean, if you're going to do that, you're going to have to do it for every war memorial in Midlothian. Because I've had queries as regarding Dalkeith that there's people that should go into this on it, but as such they've not come up with evidence yet. So I think we should just take the decision on the 3 today, and it's still open for anybody, anywhere, if they come forward with information.
Yeah, I'm just going to say there's nothing in the recommendations here that says anything other than that. We're just simply being asked to add these 3. That's not the others can come when they come. I think we should just take a decision on this one. These ones.
We won't ever consider any others. Yeah. Right. Can we proceed with the first one? It's Lance Corporal George Ross. Is acceptable? And that one agreed. And James Holgate. Agreed. Thank you. And the other one is JSA D, is it? D. Assistant. Yeah, James Simpson Alexander. Yeah, D. Is acceptable. That's the three names. That's right. Thank you very much. Right, we move forward now to the private hearing. Can I ask any members of the public, please, you'll have to leave it at this stage. It's going to be a private session. Thanks very much. Thank you.